Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and today is November the 10th. I'm going to do your Just for Today in a meditation for you. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our Hood Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Hey, listen, I've been enjoying hearing from everyone. I hope that you continue to reach out. Feel like we're developing a small community of recovering individuals, and I really appreciate it. Okay, today's title, hopefully you can see that. Today's title is Fear or Faith. This should be good. No matter how far we ran, we always carried fear with us. Basic text, page 14. For many of us, fear was a constant factor in our lives before we came to Narcotics Anonymous. We used because we were afraid to feel emotional or physical pain. Our fear people and situations gave us a convenient excuse to use drugs. A few of us were so afraid of everything that we were unable even to leave our homes without using first. As we stay clean, we replace our fear with a belief in the fellowship, the steps, and a higher power. As this belief grows, our faith in the miracle of recovery begins to color all aspects of our lives. We start to see ourselves differently. We realize we are spiritual beings and we strive to live by spiritual principles. The application of spiritual principles helps eliminate fear from our lives. By refraining from treating other people in harmful or unlawful ways, we find we needn't fear how we will be treated in return. As we practice love, compassion, understanding, and patience in our relationships with others, we are treated in turn with respect and consideration. We realize these positive changes result from allowing our higher power to work through us. We come to believe, not to think, but to believe that our higher power wants only the best for us. No matter the circumstances, we find we can walk in faith instead of fear. Just for today, I no longer need to run in fear, but walk in faith that my higher power has only the best in store for me. Beautiful. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the things to change the things we can. Fumbling on the prayer. That is so unbelievable. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, I know you know I am dying laughing over here. Oh man, it seems like no matter how early I get up, it's still going to be an issue. Oh, 2 sips of coffee must not be enough for a podcast. Well, anyway, I want to remain organic, so I apologize for that, but I do think it's quite funny. I am excited about this meditation. Fear or faith, no matter how far we ran, we always carried fear with us. You know, the thing that stood out to me is that it talks about the reason why we use, that a lot of us were afraid to feel emotional or physical pain. That pretty much sums it up, right? And then it goes on to say, right here, a few of us were so afraid of everything that we were unable even to leave our homes without using first. Now, I was that type of addict. That is the type of addict that I was. I most certainly had so much anxiety that I needed to make sure that I had something in my system before I even left the house. I was pretty functional, meaning I had a job that was scheduled, right? I had a job that was scheduled from a certain time to a certain time. I'm going to say like 8 to 4:30. I had a job that I needed to show up for on a regular basis. In general, a 9 to 5 job, and I was able to work. Whatever job I had, I was able to work it. I've never been fired from any job. However, there are plenty of jobs up until the year of 1993 that I showed up not inebriated. I showed up under the influence. And I needed to be under the influence so that I could function. There was even a season, a very long season, where I was vegan, I was bodybuilding for competition. I was, after I finished with the vegan phase of my life, which went for several years, I became a vegetarian. That went for another several years. There were several years where everything I needed to do for my physical body, I was doing that except for using. Can you imagine going through all those hoops to make sure that you're as fit and ready for competition as you possibly could be and continue to use every day? So I would be at the gym by 5 in the morning. I would be at my desk, generally speaking, on time, but there were many Monday mornings I did not make it on time because as soon as Friday evening came, after work, I'd hit the highway and travel to whatever city I was going to hang out and party at. And I wouldn't come home until after the club shut down on Sunday night, after the club. And I would drive into town knowing on Monday morning that I shouldn't be driving drunk. But I would drive into town under those conditions, still go to the gym, still show up at work at some point in time. It was amazing to me. I needed to use in order to be able to function. My whole life was built around one more and making sure that my nerves were calmed. I'm not sure why you chose to use, if it was just something you were introduced to. But 9 times out of 10, if you really, really, really take the time to look at why you used, you will find that this statement is true. Most of us use because we're afraid of feeling emotional or physical pain. For many of us, it was the emotional pain. And so we developed a habit of turning to the drug like a person would maybe turn to God or their higher power. We chose the drug as our higher power over and over and over. And what drove us, oh, this is going to be good, guys. What drove us to the drug was our fear. We were afraid to have to feel something emotionally or physically. So it drove us. Fear was the motivating factor. Fear was the catalyst towards our habitual behavior of using drugs. Now, we understand today that this is a disease that we have, a disease of addiction. right? That manifests itself mentally, spiritually, and physically. We understand that today. So what happens when we put the drug down and we begin to clean up is now we begin to see just how much fear was controlling everything that we did. That's why if you go to the triangle of self-obsession IP, you will find in that triangle, fear has its own corner. Fear is a part of the triangle and is very, very powerful. So much so that many of us mindlessly use drugs in an effort to control the level of fear that we were feeling, to make it dissipate. When we stop using drugs, we find out the fear is still there, and it can almost run you crazy. It can literally cause you to have so much faulty thinking in your judgment of how you interact with people. Now you're accusing people of doing this and doing that because you're fearful that you might lose them. You are monitoring people's coming and going within your home because you're fearful of what they may bring to the house or what they might be doing that you don't know about. You begin to question everything, including yourself. And you find out that fear has been dictating your life. And as a result of that, you initially were choosing drugs, but now you need to do something different. If you're going to control it, if you're going to handle how fear has influenced you, you're going to need something more powerful than yourself, more powerful than drugs, more powerful than other people. And the only thing I've been able to come up with, and Narcotics Anonymous has come up with, is that we need faith. Faith in a higher power that only wants what's best for us. See, because in step one, we put the drug down. 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Not necessarily would, but could. But that little beginning part of step 2, we came to believe. So that's a process. And it happens after you stop using, after you put the drug down. That process of coming to believe is kicked into gear. It can be a slow process and it can be a quick process, but it is going to be a process of developing a level of belief in something greater than yourself. Because by the time you get into your 3rd step, you're there now turning your will and your life over to the care of God as you understood them. Okay? So we don't want to pass over step 2 with a minimal concern. We don't want to do that because if you do, you will be forever and a day getting to your step 3. Matter of fact, you might write it out and not even believe. You might write it out and not even have faith in your higher power, that your higher power has the very best in store for you. And if you're operating out of that level of unbelief or disbelief or lack of faith, then everything you do from that point on will reflect just how self-dependent you still are. This is very serious. This is no small 10, 15-minute conversation. So hit me up in my email or down below in the comments and let me know if you have a question about your process of step 1 through 3. because I'll answer the question. I'll schedule a Zoom with you. We can have a conversation. I would be happy to do that. I'm not trying to sponsor you, but I am willing to have a deeper conversation about your process of coming to believe. Because you got to get this. Instead of fear, we need faith. And you having faith in the same person that had all the fear yourself, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. Listen, my name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you have a beautiful day. I hope that if you want to laugh today, you go back to the beginning, the beginning part where I just had this little brain lapse of even saying the serenity prayer. And be gentle with yourself. Give yourself some grace. Enjoy your life. Something like that, what that would just shut me down for days. I would use for days over an air like that. Not today. Not today. I love who I am and I love my life today. And I want for you to laugh again, to live again, to enjoy people again. Enjoy everything that comes your way and say thank you. Oh my goodness, that person almost ran me off the road. Oh my goodness, thank you. You taught me never, never to drive drunk again. You taught me to take my time, to give myself more time to get to where I'm going. Find the beautiful lesson in everything that you experience, because there's always something positive that can come from even the worst things. And that is simply you walking out your second and third step, coming to believe and trusting and having faith that everything's going to be okay, that God has good things for you, that it's not over till it's over. And as long as you can wake up, as long as you can look up on your back and you can look up, you can get up, you can always revamp the day. You can always start it over at any moment in time. My name is MightyStream. I've been looking for the stop button. I just found it. So now, I want you to have a beautiful day on purpose. Talk to you soon.